Hello, everybody. My name's Roy, and I've got a friend of ours from Germany. His name's Harald Brems, and Harold and I are both targeted individual. And Harold is doing his best working for Eacups and another company, which Harold sent it to me, but I've forgotten.
The
But
name is
thanks very-
Schutzschild in German. It's Schutzschild in English. It's like a protecting shield. It would be a protecting shield in English, and it's an association for targeted individuals, people who are harassed or who are tortured with mind control or electronic, so to say, electronic torture, or some say electronic harassment, some say gang stalking, all this stuff, cyber crimes. All this stuff together. Let's call it mind control. I say mind control. And there are also, like everywhere, there are also in Germany are a lot of people involved in this crimes, or not involved. They are concerned from these crimes because they are victims, of course. They are not perpetrators. And many people do suffer a lot, and they don't know how to get out of this shit, out of this game. And last year we founded this association in Germany. But my work for targeted individuals and as a targeted individual is much longer, because I'm concerned now since 20 years. I'm a targeted individual since 20 years now. It started in the year 2002. So this year is 20 years TI. But it's not a it's not a good thing to be a TI for so long. And this is what we do now. We are trying to raise awareness. We write a lot to politicians. We write to the media, to alternative media. Also, we have meetings, Zoom calls, Zoom meetings, like we have now every 2 weeks. We have a big Zoom meeting in Germany. Big, not so many people. It's you cannot. It's not like maybe in the US, when the US groups are doing meetings, they have maybe hundreds of people in the meeting, like PACTs or some organizations. If they have meetings, there are a lot more people inside of these meetings. But we have these meetings every second week, and I think the people are very glad that they can come and can talk about their problems. Because they have nobody else who they can talk about these issues. Because if you talk to a normal person, if you talk to your friends or your family, usually they call you mad. They think, okay, he's crazy, And so it's very important for the people to talk about, because it gives them. It lowers the pain. I would say it lowers the pain if you can share the pain with somebody else. If you can share your story with somebody else, it's easier to cope. And you also do a lot of Zoom calls. As I saw.
I've been doing a chat show on Sunday night for about a year now. And maybe longer. We've been doing it every Sunday night, and we used to get about 30 people in, and the reason I started doing it on Zoom was because on the radio anybody can phone up with a load of bullshit, but when you're face to face, or if you've got the guts to go face to face, the chances are that you're going to be more real, that you're not going to infiltrate a targeted meeting and actually show your face. Or that was my way of thinking anyway. But I think that they've been a great success, to be honest, Harold, because a lot of them have made friends, and they've got a lot of connections throughout the world now. So to me, it's been a win-win situation.
Yeah, I think it's very important to make connections, because most of the TIs are very alone. They go through their lives very alone. They are isolated from their families, from their friends. Many of them lost their jobs, lost everything, and they are completely alone. And it's very important to find people who share, who help you. Maybe, you can talk about your problems. you can organize, because it's important to organize, because if you want to solve these problems, we can only do it together. Yeah, it's not possible to get out of this if you are alone, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, we have to be united in some way. And the sad thing is, Harold, is because I've been reporting on Twitter for just coming up to 12 years. And previous to this, I was reporting for 3 years on Facebook. And I saw a lot of companies take money from innocent people and just come and go. Now, there's quite a few people in the community that are raising funds for targeted individuals, but there's no results, just a load of talk. So people say to me, Roy, I don't know if you know, Harold, but a documentary maker got in contact with me last week. And he's from Los Angeles. And it's a very credible company. And he said to me, he said, could you give me some information? He said, I'm in the preliminary stages of doing a documentary regarding Havana syndrome. And he said, I stumbled across your YouTube site, the YouTube site that I set up, doing the interviews. And that's why he contacted me. So, you know, we're in the early stages of it, Harold, but fingers crossed something will come out of it.
Yeah, hopefully. I also was on Facebook for some years, but I think Facebook is also a part of the problem, because Facebook belongs more or less to the secret agencies like CIA or NSA. They are very much involved in all these social media stuff. Doesn't matter if it's Facebook or Twitter or something else. They are everywhere. They have all these programs like Prism program, and they can go directly on your account and alter your account. They can send messages to somebody and you don't see it, but they know, and somebody else gets a message from you or thinks it's from you, but you never sent this message, and they think, oh, what is he writing now? Or yeah, maybe a bad message. Yeah, or maybe, yeah, you don't know what they write. This is the problem. You never know what is happening in the back of these companies and of these of these big computer programs, what they are, at least. Yeah, and they can use it, and they do it all the time. It's like social engineering. This is what they do. They do social engineering, and they put things together to construct something, and they can also construct something against you, and you don't know about it. Yeah. So this is because I went out of Facebook and all this stuff. I know there are many TIs worldwide using Facebook, but I think it's not a good thing, and we shouldn't use Facebook, because if my perpetrators open a restaurant, I would never go there and eat there. But if my perpetrators are in Facebook or in another kind of social media, then I go to Facebook and I use it. I think this is a little bit schizophrenic, and so I would not use it. Yeah.
The thing is, Harold, is we know that our community is heavily infiltrated with perpetrators. We know that, you know,
absolutely.
Because, you know, a dozen times a week, I'll get so many followers with with one follower, you know, and no tweets. You know, so you know it's but Elon Musk now, he's taken over. This is all part of the transhumanism. This is all part of it, and they're saying now about the artificial intelligence, Harold, that it could overtake.
Yes, absolutely. I think they want to create something like the Matrix. Yeah, maybe in 10 years or in 20, 30 years, the people will live inside of computer programs, and the whole world will be inside of a computer program, like they try now with Meta, the company of who was Facebook before. And I think this is what they want to do. They want to put people and people's brains inside of computer programs, and I think the life will be very fine and very attractive inside of a computer program like Meta, or maybe Meta Plus or Plus, what comes next. Yeah. but this will be a kind of matrix where the real life will die and the real life will not happen very much, like people sitting all the day in front of their computer. Maybe you don't need any computer then. Maybe the computer will be inside of your brain, like a kind of chip or something, and you can go directly to this cloud or to this computer program, and you can sit all day in your home or in a place and do nothing, like be inside of this computer program. I think this is what they want to do at the end of the day.
I'll tell you what I think is very important, Harold. A couple of years ago, I found a link, and it was reporting that Chile were the only country in the world that have applied for neuro rights.
Chile, yes, I heard about it. Yes,
and the thing is every country needs to apply for neuro rights.
Absolutely.
Exactly, because we're hackable humans. It's very simple for them to hack us now.
Yeah, we thought about to create a worldwide campaign to ask countries to do the same thing that Chile has done before. Yeah, to protect neuro rights, and to put this in a law, because we need a law that protects human neuro rights. Yeah, because the neuro rights are very much attackable and will be much more in the future through this kind of technology, and so we need laws that protect us from these attacks. From these attacks on our neurons.
Sorry, Harold. We also need to find a way to prove that we're on the program, and we need to know whether they're using our DNA, whether we're implanted, whether they're using some sort of coding. We need to find the truth regarding that as well, because nobody really knows.
Yes, we know a little bit. We don't know everything, but we know some things. I think I know how they attack the most people. I think it's done by cell phone towers. This is the biggest part. The cell phone towers and also satellites. They do it with these special antennas, like phased array antennas. They are everywhere. A cell phone antenna is nothing more like a phased array antenna, and these kind of antennas are also built in satellites, and it's not very complicated to attack somebody from the orbit or from such an antenna that is maybe near to your house. If you have this technique, and they have it, they can attack you all around the world. And this is what they have done in my case. I was in Chile and I got attacked. In Peru, not Chile. I was in Peru for holidays. It was 4 years ago now, and they also attacked me in Peru. They attacked me in Portugal. Everywhere where I was, it was no problem for them to find me, to attack me. Doesn't matter if I was on the beach, doesn't matter if I was in the hotel or something. Yeah, I think one time I was deep inside of the Amazonas, and there I didn't see any attacks there. But then I came nearby a cell phone tower, and then the attacks started again. I got headaches and so on, and problems with sleep. They woke me up in the night, and so the same problems that I have here. And then I think this was affected by the cell phone tower. Yeah.
My personal belief is the satellites and the cell towers are handing off to each other.
Yes.
And the reason that I say this is because I went on a cruise 2 years ago to Australia and New Zealand, and I was still being attacked at sea. My friend Craig LaForest, who lives in Australia, he was put on the program by James Cameron, who made the Avatar movie.
I know Craig, yes. Craig LaForest, yes. Yeah, I know him, yes.
Yeah, and I met Craig. I went to see him when I was in Australia. And I spoke to him yesterday, I had a message from him, and he's still getting attacked at sea as well. You know, he's on a ship at the moment. So that has to be satellite based. So yes. They're handing off the land to the satellite and vice versa.
Yeah, also people told me they went into a mine under the earth, under the ground, maybe 100 meters or something. And these were people that had voice to skull, all these voices in their head, and they still had these voices, even if they have been under the ground, so many meters under the ground, and still there were these voices, and they had no signal on their cell phone, nothing. They couldn't talk with their cell phone, but they still had their voices. And this can only be done by satellite, because there are radar satellites that go through the ground, many meters through the ground, and you can search maybe for oil or gas inside of the earth, under the ground of the earth, and this radiation goes through the earth. And this is the only technology that I know that goes so deep inside of the earth. Yeah, and I'm sure they do it by satellite. Yeah, even these people that have voice to skull technology, I think they are attacked by satellites. Yeah, and I've also heard.
Sorry.
Yeah, I've also heard from people that have been in the desert somewhere, no cell phone towers anywhere, nothing around, no town, no house, no nothing. And even there, they had these attacks, these kind of attacks. So how can it be done? The only technology that we know that can reach you everywhere on the world, that is a satellite, satellite technology. Yeah.
Well, you said you've been on the program 20 years, Harald.
Yes.
And what happened in the beginning for you?
Well, in the beginning, I was organizing a demonstration in South Germany in a town named Singen. This is the name of the town, and I lived nearby this town. And at that time, I lived in this town, and I organized a demonstration in Singen, and it was a mixture between music demonstration, like Love Parade in Berlin or something, but very small, and also a political demonstration for freedom in Israel and Palestine. And it was it was a demonstration that got critics against Israel and against Israeli politics, against Palestine. And then during these organizations, I recognized that people were behind me, following me through the town. When I was distributing flyers, they followed me through the town. Then I saw that people were inside of my home when I was not at home. I came home and I saw, okay, some of the flyers were missing, things were moved around, stuff like that. This happened sometimes. Then the first, then there were technical things, like my computer behaved very strange, did strange things. I had telephone calls, and when I took up the phone, nobody was there, or strange noises on the phone, stuff like that. Then someday they started driving by my house and doing their horn on the car. And in the beginning, I thought, okay, this is a coincidence. There were just some colleagues or friends greeting each other, on the street. But then I saw this was every day, and it was every day on the same time. Somebody passed my house, did his horn. And then after a while, it was not only passing my house, it was in the town, it was on different places. It was when I walked my dog, and sometimes it was 3 times during the day, 4 times during the day, 5, 6 times during the day, doesn't matter. Every time, cars. Sometimes the people also had a smile on their face, or sometimes they drove very, very slow and made hello. But I didn't know these people. Different, totally strangers to me. They have been totally strange to me. I didn't know anybody. And also when I went to the town, there were people grinding at me, saying some provocative stuff, in the train, everywhere in the town. And this was the beginning of stalking, where I got stalked, and they showed me that we take a look at you, and we know always where you are. It doesn't matter if you are in the town, if you are in the train, if you go to work, if you go to the radio station, because in that time I started, there was a radio station in Switzerland. There still is a small radio station, and I had a radio show there, and I went there once a week. And of course, every time I went to the radio station, they stalked me on the way. And it was nearly every day. It wasn't not nearly, it was every day. There was every day strange stuff, going to work, coming home from work. Then sitting at home, my TV went off, then went on again without doing anything. Yeah. Then, yeah, telephone calls, all that stuff. Then I also recognized that some people that have been friends to me before, they went a little bit strange. Yeah, they didn't want to say hello anymore. They didn't want to talk anymore when I met them somewhere. And I thought by myself, oh, what happened there? Why the last time we had a very nice talk and everything was okay, and now they don't want to talk anymore. They don't want to say hello anymore. Like I was a criminal or something. Yeah. And I couldn't understand what is going on. But after a while, I saw that somebody must have talked to them and said something against me, something very bad, yeah. Because this behavior is not normal. Yeah, if you have a good talk and you're a good friend with somebody, and the next time he don't want to say hello and it looks like you are a criminal or something, this is very strange. And so it happened like this for some years. There was also a lot of technical sabotage when I was in the radio station. Then they sabotaged all these devices that are there, the microphone, the CD player, everything went strange behavior of this instrument. They didn't function very like they should. Yeah, you play the button on the CD player for start and nothing happens, and you play again, you press again, and then maybe the third time the CD plays, but yeah, you are on the microphone and you say, okay, now we hear this and this song, and you press the button, oh, nothing. Press again, oh, nothing. That's a little bit, yeah.
Well, it makes you look bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, really. Or one time, I remember I asked somebody to make a telephone interview with me, and I prepared everything. And then we said, okay, you call me on that time. Yeah, and then when the time came, I saw that the telephone was complete dead. Yeah, it was dead. I took up the telephone, no noise, nothing. It was complete dead. And I said, oh man, I cannot do this interview. Yeah, how bad. And then, okay, I said, good, I can't do anything. I go home. Yeah. And the next day when I was at the radio station, I asked my friends there, what happened to the telephone? The telephone is damaged. It's out of order. And they say, no, everything is okay. It's fine. It's running. I took up the phone, and there was a signal. Everything was fine, and nobody knew what it was. And stuff like that happened so many times, that things, devices, electrical devices, different things, machines, even in my work, yeah, went out of order, and suddenly they functioned again, and nobody knew why. Yeah, in one case, the lift was out of order, and or maybe electrical door was out of order, and then they called an electrician. Yeah, and he came and took a look, and suddenly it went, and everybody asked what was the problem, and she said nothing, everything is okay. There's no problem, there's no damage. Yeah. And stuff like that was all the time, all the years, and still is until now. I have so many electrical sabotage with my devices, with my computer. I told you last week I had this interview with Amy, and we had a talk for something like an hour, a little bit more. And after the interview, I watched the video. I wanted to put the video online, of course. And then the video was black, complete black, no picture, no sound, complete black. And this is what they are doing all the time. Yeah. Technical sabotage.
Right. No, you just reminded me. I'm making sure everything's okay at my end.
Hopefully, yeah. I hope that this video will be recorded.
So, Harold, have you managed to work?
Yes. yes, I can work, but it's very hard sometimes because I have also a lot of sleep deprivation. I cannot sleep very much till during the night, and I wake up sometimes at night. Sometimes I wake only one time at night and can sleep in again. These are my good nights, yeah. But I have many nights where I wake up first time at 3 o'clock or at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, and then I sleep in a little bit, then I wake up again, move around, sleep in a little bit, wake up again, move around. And yeah, wake up maybe every hour one time or every second hour one time. And then in the morning, I'm very, very tired, of course, because I didn't went to this deep sleep patterns, this deep sleep phase. And this is very important. Yeah, if you want to recover during the night, you need these deep sleep patterns. And if you don't get into this into this phase of deep sleep, you are not really recovered in the morning. You are very tired. And this is what they are doing very, very much. And all the time, it started, the electrical torture for me. In the beginning, it was a lot of gang stalking. It was sabotage, people coming in my house and so on. But in 2008, the electronics torture really started because I was in hospital for some days. I had this operation in my nose. There was I don't know how to say, there was a part of my nose that they operated, yeah. And then I came home after that, and I couldn't sleep. I was up, like I told you, I woke up every night, every hour, one time. And then there was pain inside of my face. There was pain in my body. There were stings like, not like a bee, but a little bit. It's like a little bit like an insect sting, or like you put a needle or something, and pressure, and also this, I couldn't sleep. I slept maybe 4 hours during the night, and then went to work in the morning, and I was very, very tired. But I made it. Yeah, finally I fight it, or I don't know how to say, but in the beginning I had one job that I quit because that was when the stalking was very, very strong, and I do in the beginning you don't know what this is. Yeah, there are people following you, and of course you are afraid because of the situation. You don't know what it is, and then I quit that job. This was in 2004, I think, 2004. Yeah, that was that one time that I quit my job because of the gang stalking. But I never did it again. And during the next years, when I had jobs, I worked even if I couldn't sleep. Yeah, and then after the years, the pain or the physical torture got a little bit less, but I think the psychological torture increased because I don't have so much pain now in the last years. That everything that reduced, but I have, like I told, sleep deprivation. I also have this kind of forced thoughts. I would say forced thoughts that sometimes you have to think on different things, and you cannot get this thing out of your head. I can explain, like maybe you are stalked in one situation. You are on the street and you are stalked by a gang stalker, and then you come home and you have to think again and again and again all the time. You think about this situation, and this is forced thinking, or they can put emotions in you, forced emotions like fear, like anger, something like that, sadness, maybe depression. And this is what I have now much more. Yeah, I don't would say I'm depressed, but sometimes I have some days when I'm very down, and so it's like a depressed phase, I would say. Yeah, and this is what they do now to me very much. Yeah, and I have also smear campaigns. People, they tell people things about me, and like I told you, a situation, there are some people on the street and you talk to them, and they are very friendly for a while, and after a while you see a change. They want to say hello again, or they don't even want to talk with you without a cause. There was no there was nothing between me and them. There was no argument or something else. So
No.
of course somebody came to them, somebody talked about me, said, oh, take care of this guy, he's very dangerous, don't talk to him. I don't know, but something like that. I know that I know many people, they even special if you are a man, they want to put rumors on you that you are pedophile or so. I know some cases.
That's
I know some cases.
that they do.
I know some cases in Germany where they tried to put this on people, on TIs, that they are pedophiles, and of course this is a very bad situation. If somebody thinks that you're a pedophile, you can imagine, you are down, you are nothing, for them, But you never know who it is. You never know who said that. In the most cases, you don't know it. It's all behind. It's all hidden, and you don't know. You only see the results. You only see
as well. They're all protected, and they're allowed to talk whatever bullshit they want, and they're untouchable. Yes,
of course. They are protected by the police also, I would say, and by all the system. Of course, not the whole police is corrupt, but in some points, in some important places in the police, they have their people there. And so if you have people in the important places, in the key places, you can control the whole system. You can, you know what I mean?
It's 100%.
You can control the whole organization if you have the people in right places.
Do you have friends? Do you have friends or family, Harald, that believe you?
Yes. My family believes me. Not everyone, but a part of it. I would say a part of it believes. A part of it doesn't want to talk about this problem because it's not so. It's not so well to talk about problems, but I think some people in my family believe me, and this is of course very helpful. If you see that they believe you and they don't think that you are crazy or something, that helps a lot. And I've lost many friends, especially my old friends, but I would say I found also new friends inside of the TI community. I found some good people that are very helpful, very friendly, very warm, and this is important.
Of course.
I think I understand that it's hard to believe these problems, but it's only hard if you don't know the facts, if you don't know the science. If you know about the science, and if you go inside this topic, and if you read things, if you read books that are concerned with this topic, you can understand, because there is so much in the internet. There are books, there are interviews. Also, what we saw in the last years with Havana syndrome. I think we are now at the point where it is much more easier to understand, because some years ago there have been only some books and some websites, and if you tell somebody that, okay, I have this book, I have this website, they say, okay, you are a conspiracy theorist or something like that.
Exactly.
But now we see that the employees in Cuba or in China, the US employees have been attacked with the same technology. They have the same effects like the targeted individuals. And that's a special situation, because now it's not a conspiracy stuff anymore. Now it's common sense. It's public.
This sounds very strange, but I said I've been reporting for 15 years. The best thing that happened to the targeted individual community was about 7 years ago when they reported the Havana syndrome attacks. And that sounds a terrible thing to say, but if it wasn't for that, we would have still had no chance. But now loads of other people were attacked with directed energy weapons. That is the proof. And one person within our community, Len Bear, he's been diagnosed with Havana syndrome. So he's part of our crowd as well.
I would say he has the right doctor, but a lot of people
Yes.
don't have these doctors. This is the problem. Yeah, even in Germany, if you go to a doctor and tell that you are harassed, that you are followed by strangers, or you hear voices in your head, they send you to the hospital. They say, okay, that's it. Go to the hospital, take some of these small pills. Maybe you feel better after that. Yeah.
Well, they did an experiment in the United States a while ago. They sent 8 people to 8 different states at exactly the same time, and they were only allowed to tell one lie. And the lie was they heard one voice in their head. That's the only lie. And all 8 of them were given the schizophrenic label because they heard one voice. That was the only lie that they told.
Yeah. And the system is not able to find a difference between a person who is real schizophrenic or sick or ill, how you want to tell, and a person who only tells, or who is not really sick or ill, but who pretends to be sick. The system is not able to find out.
Yeah.
There was also this experiment was called Rosen experiment. I think it was in the 70s or something, and that was the same situation. Some people went into the psychiatry and said, "I have a voice in my head," and they got this diagnosis, schizophrenia, but it was a lie. All these people have been complete normal. There was no illness. It was just a test. It was an experimentation.
That's where
they couldn't find out.
And since I knew that I was in the system, it's a system. It's nothing. It's all bullshit. It's all a system. It's a system to entrap people that they don't want on the streets, or or a system that they want to experiment on people.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you can take out people that are not that you don't want, that disturb you, or disturb some rich people maybe, or the politicians or something else, or tell the truth. You can take out these people, put them into a hospital, say, okay, they are schizophrenic. You give them medication, and nobody gives a shit about them, because they are crazy in the coconut for everybody. That's the problem. People think they are crazy, of course. But I think maybe the hospitals are full of targeted individuals. We don't know. We don't know.
So. But we know now that they're using this in prison as well. Because I saw reports on them using this on prisoners.
Yes, they did.
But that's the perfect place for them to use it, because they're locked up, they're isolated, and all they're doing is they're monitoring their thoughts. They're monitoring how they interact with the other prisoners and everything else. They're watching them 24/7.
Yeah, and nobody can come out. Nobody goes away. Nobody runs away. Yeah.
And not only that, they've given them the schizophrenic label, so they've already destroyed their lives by giving them that label. Everybody else thinks they're crazy anyway, because they've been given that label. So the system has beaten it. So the system has beaten everybody. To me, Harald, it's perfected what they've done, because it's such a bad hidden crime. And until we find a way to actually get concrete evidence that we know we're walking antennas, don't we, Harald? We know that we're electrical beings that vibrate at a completely different frequency than anybody else in the world. The same as our fingerprint, every single one of us is different. We know that now, don't we? And we also know that they can latch onto us by our frequency through into the microwave, into the property. We know that they can do implants. That's been proven. I posted last night or the night before that gentleman who was having it, who they did a brain scan on, and they showed his implants, and they've got nano implants now. it's very, very simple for them now, isn't it? Plus, they believe that they can do it on our DNA as well, Harold.
They can also give you these implants by vaccination, of course. But I think they don't even need implants. Of sure, it makes it a lot easier for them to follow you, to find you. But I think the technique is as far developed that they don't need any implants anymore. And this is also what Barry Trower said: implants is old technology.
Yes.
Yeah, they can find you. They can do the same without implants. What they did before with implants.
Barry Trower is a wonderful gentleman. And I'll tell you who they did this to in the very late 1980s. And that was David Icke. Because David Icke, I remember the whole country was saying David Icke's gone mad. Because what happened was he started proclaiming that he was the Son of God.
Well, some of his theories are still very strange.
Oh, no, but you see, I can relate to him because this is what they did to me, what they did to him. Because he was a BBC reporter, and he had problems with the BBC, they had to make him look like a lunatic. So basically, they used magic or whatever on him to destroy his life.
Yeah, could be, yeah. Well, I think some of the stuff that he says makes a lot of sense, and he also talks about mind control and stuff. But he also has kind of these alien theories like Anunnaki and stuff like that. I'm not inside of that. I'm not inside of Anunnaki, and well, I would not say that aliens don't exist. I'm sure they exist, but there are so many crazy theories about aliens and stuff like that. And I also think that some of these theories, maybe not all, but some of these are put to the public by maybe secret agents or people who create some stories to diffuse the people. Because when there are so many theories, people don't know what to believe, and you always find some people. When I say there is a UFO behind my house, maybe I will always find one or two people that believe that. And it's with every theory. There are so many theories, but I think it's important to find proof. Because everybody can say something. I heard this, I saw this, but we have to find the proof. This is important. And also in our cases, we can tell a lot, but if we cannot prove that we are attacked by microwaves or by lasers or radio frequency, everything leads to nothing. The most important thing is to find the proof. And this is the same with alien technology. Maybe the aliens exist, but I want to see the proof before I believe. I
think that there must be a digital footprint. There has to be, because it's coming from somewhere. So there has to be data from somewhere that each of us must have an identification number of some sort, weight or sort. There must be a way of intercepting. There has to be a way.
Yes. And I think this day will come. We will find the proof, because they cannot hide it anymore. There are too many people involved. There are too many people concerned around the world, and there are also very intelligent people. And we will find a way to come out of this. The question is how long it takes. This is the only question.
Well, let's hope we survive long enough to see the end of it, Harold.
Hopefully. I hope so. Yes. I don't want to die as a targeted individual. I don't want to die. I want to get out of this. I don't want to be an old man and still being attacked by these bastards.
And on the computer every night. We still haven't found the answer yet. It gets wearing after a while, doesn't it, Harold? It's draining.
you put a lot of energy. You have to put a lot of energy inside to communicate and to find information and even to understand, because this is also not easy to understand, because it goes deep inside of the physics, and even in the area of physics, it's only a small part at the very much outside, and most of the physicists, they don't know about it. Yeah, they know, okay, there's a little bit radiation and stuff like that, laser and maser and so on, but most of the physicists have no clue about this kind of technology. Yeah, because it's a very strange part of this physics. Yeah.
Yeah, but what a wonderful man Barry Trower is, because he's been going around the world doing these talks for many years. I sent him a letter many years ago because his address is on Facebook, and what a wonderful gentleman. He sent me, he wrote to me personally, and what a fabulous man. And you know, hopefully he's awakening a lot of the world as to the reality about the world being blanketed in microwaves.
Yes, he's a very kind person, but he's getting old now, and this is a problem. Yeah, I would like to call him and invite him to Germany, but I'm afraid that he will say no.
He would, but all he charges is expenses. He told me that.
Yes.
Yes, he doesn't pay any. He doesn't charge anything. I saw Barry once, or I heard him say, "I don't make any money out of it." He said, "All I do is," he said, "I'll take expenses, and that's for the flights, hotel accommodation, and everything else." And I'm sure if you contacted him, he would. Because I know that he did some interviews here about 12, 13 years ago. So a couple of females from the United States came over to interview him.
Yes, he did also some lectures some years ago. Yes. I know of some lectures that he did. He did interviews. Some people went there to visit him and to have interviews with him. Yeah, I think maybe it's important to have him for a lecture in Germany. I would like to ask him if he wants to come, maybe for a conference or something. Yeah.
But I'm sure he'd be delighted.
Yeah.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there have been some conferences, but in the last years it got a little bit quiet everywhere. I remember there was this conference 2015 in Berlin. It was well organized by Peter Moring, and also Melanie and me helped a little bit with this conference. But the most part of the work was done by Peter Moring. It was his work, his baby, so to say. And it was a really good conference, really well organized. And there have been people from Japan, from Australia, from the USA, from everywhere, from all parts of Europe, New Zealand even, yeah. But after that, it got a little bit quiet, and there was no international conference anymore. Maybe there have been some in the US that I don't know, but
yeah, well, they had the one in 2017 at the White House that Dr. Matthew Aaron, he was speaking at. He came on our talk show on Sunday night about a year ago, and he was talking to us for a couple of hours, because I believe that they've given him a reprieve on the program now, like they do a lot of people. That's why a lot of TIs disappear, because they've been lucky enough to get their lives back. And I think they sort of say, if you behave yourself, you're not a naughty boy again or a naughty girl, we'll let you work as long as you keep your mouth shut and get on with it.
Okay.
Well, that seems to be how it is.
Yes.
You know, because over the years I've seen hundreds of people come and go. And the very first woman I saw in the whole world that was reporting, and that was about 16 years ago, and that was Sol Mavis.
I remember, yes. I remember her, yeah.
Yeah, she was the only person, because I started looking for synthetic telepathy. because I knew that the voices coming in were external coming in.
Mm. Well, there have been some in the US. There was a woman with the name Dupre, something with Dupre.
Yes.
She wrote some good articles, and there was also this guy who did this show for RT for Russia Today with Magnus Olsen. But this is 10 years ago
Magnus
or
Olsen,
something.
he's not really around anymore, is he?
No, I didn't hear from him since a long time. Yeah? I don't know what he does.
Yeah, because last time I saw, he went to the European Parliament to see our friend, and that's not there anymore.
Well, maybe we should take things in our own hands. Maybe Roy, maybe you should do some meetings in the UK or some conferences. We also talked about doing a protest in front of the NATO headquarters, maybe next year in May or in June or something, and invite people from Europe and to have a protest there for one day and maybe a conference on the other day. This is just an idea, but we talk about this. I think it's important to start new projects, because if we don't do it, nobody else will do. Yeah, we are the people now that have to do this. Yeah, I think.
Exactly. Well, that's why I started doing these chats as well, because I was hoping, Harold, that it would get it out in the public more, you know, and thankfully that documentary maker has contacted us for the simple reason that they saw our videos on YouTube. So all we could do is hope that something comes out of it. And I've let somebody else know who the documentary maker is. It's very kosher. It's a big company, and you know, so all we can do is wait to hear from them. And I've sent them as much as I can. Yes,
you should do that. Yeah, that's a chance. Maybe that's a chance.
Yes, exactly.
And we should also go on. Write to politicians, write to journalists, write to artists, write to everybody, write about this issue, about our problems. Because if we don't talk about it, if we don't write to these people, who else can do this? This is what many TIs don't understand. They think somebody else has to do it, but we ourselves, we are the people who are involved, and we are the only person who can bring this to the public. Yeah, nobody else will help us. Nobody else will do it for us. If we don't talk about this, nobody else will do it. And it's very important that the TIs themselves come out with their stories, make interviews like we do now, put their stories on the internet, write letters, and so on. Yeah, we have to be active, because nobody else will do that for us. Nobody will come and tell. Yeah. And if many people raise their voices, they cannot say, okay, this is nothing. The problem is that most of the people are too afraid. They don't want to talk about that they are TIs. They are so afraid that somebody around them can see that they are targeted individuals. They are so afraid, and they stay home and don't talk to anybody. And so nothing will change. How can change something, or how can there be a change if nobody talks about his problems? That's impossible. If you want to change something, you have to talk about it.
Exactly, and we've got to prove it at the same time, Harald. We've got to find a way to prove that what we've all been telling is right. We've got to find a way to either detect the implants, the microwaves, and find a digital footprint if we can.
Yes. I think measurements are very important, but it's hard. It's also hard to find professionals who do these measurements for you.
Yeah.
And most of the professionals that are around, they say, this is crazy stuff and this is not possible. It's not possible to do something with radiation. And this is how you can see that even the professionals don't know about this technology. They don't know. They know a little bit, but they don't know about this technology. If I go in Germany here to Strahlenschutz, Bundesamt für Strahlenschutz or something else, there are some I don't know how to say, they are public like companies or something, but they belong to the state, and there are all these technicians that handle around with radiation and stuff. And if you write them or call them, they say, "Oh, this is not possible. This is not possible." Some of them, I heard of some cases where they came home to the people and really made a measurement. But the problem is they only measure the frequency. And if you measure frequency, you will see, okay, there is frequency from the cell tower, and there is frequency from Vodafone, and there is frequency from the Wi-Fi from the neighborhood, and there is frequency from your cordless home telephone, and so on. And they say, okay, everything is fine because you have nothing strange here, but they only measure the frequency, and you must measure the pulse, the modulation, and the amplitude. You have to measure the amplitude. You have to measure the pulses, and then you can find the mind control signal, because the mind control signal has an amplitude modulation, and it's also pulse modulated. And if you measure the pulses, you will say that it's not a natural pulse frequency. It's an altered pulse frequency, and pulse. Yeah, you know, exactly. I don't know. Yeah, my English is a little bit rusty. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Harald, is there anything else you'd like to say to our targeted individual friends or people that are going to watch this?
Well, I think it's very important to come out with your stories for everybody. Do interviews, write letters to politicians, write letters to media, to artists, write letters to everybody, and talk about your problems. And also, it's important to support all these TI associations, these communities that exist nearly everywhere. There are so many associations in the US, in Europe, and also in South America. There are rising up associations almost everywhere. And I think it's important to come together, to organize and speak out. That's the important thing. We have to speak out about our problems. And if we don't do that, nobody will help us. And I myself, I don't want to die as a TI. I want to get out of this problem. I want to be free someday again. I'm now 20 years a TI, and that's enough. This is really enough. I want to be a free man one day. So yeah, this is all I can say. Raise your voices and speak out, and speak about your problems, and come out and tell that you are a TI, tell that you are tortured by frequencies, by microwaves, by radio frequencies, and so on. And never give up. That's all I can say.
So much. I want to say thanks ever so much, Harald. Harald Brems from Germany, and it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. We've met before, but thanks for agreeing to come and do a chat, and hopefully we'll get the word out further afield. And between us, Harald, we'll get these evil programs shut down one way or another, and be able to help other people along the way as we go.
Thank you for the chance to be here in your show, in your Zoom meeting, and thank you for your help. Yeah,
absolutely,
for everything.
Pleasure, Harald. No, thank you for everything that you're doing with Eacups and everything else. And what was the name of the other one?
Of what?
Eacups, the other one.
And the other one was Schutzschild. Schutzschild is a little bit complicated for English people to.
Well, I'll tell you what, Harald, when I put the video up, I'll ask you, and I'll put that in the links of the video.
Yes, you can do that. It's Schutzschild. It's like protecting shield in English. In German, it's Schutzschild. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I give you the link. I will send you the link. Yes. Okay.
Thanks ever so much, Harald.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you. Thanks, Harald.
Yeah. Cheers. Have a good day. Yeah. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.